we're back with a song, the long-awaited Gabor. I give an ode to my love of clowns and my love of Gabor with this very sloppy rendition of clown makeup. But I do it out of love for Gabor, which is what this song is about, kind of, and what that painting behind me is about. Anyways, without further ado, that was a lot of fucking intro, and I've never done that before, but hey, what's up, Gabor? Down in the pits of Clown Alley stood a man out of time. In a bowler hat, in a suit of black, he was the tear of a mime. Shadow of the laughter past, the specter of a joke. The hero so unbothered through the rings of pink smoke. Could be a children dance by screaming. He continued on alone. Red hair, big nose, and big shoes. He had them all on a string. But I saw him, I swear it's, and the bitter humor he'd bring me she'd soar in the dark of the theater. She'd crash to the floor. Kill the lights, bring in the clowns. You can laugh or you can cry. The boy took the microphone and it sang into the sky. Me and more. But he continued to sing ageless words of mourning, but the crowd didn't hear a thing. I watched the chaos of clowns distracting us from death. The most tragic of all harlequins sang until I laughed. Give me a Hey, that is Gabor. Oh, feels good to finally play it and share it with all you guys. Gabor is a subject that I hold near and dear to my heart and my personal mythology. And allow me to explain. Alrighty. First of all, Gabor is a reoccurring subject in my art. Always has been, especially in my very young, early like late teen, early 20s, like prolific, super prolific time. And circuses were a big fascination for me during those times, especially like artistically. So I like to write about them. I like to write poems about them and stories and like little throwaway pieces and whatnot. And Gabor was a reoccurring character. He was someone that was always like in the description of the clown, the classic like romantic tortured clown kind of deal. And he has a basis in reality. He was a real clown that I met at the first clown alley. I'll get it out one of these days. Honk honk. The first clown alley I ever went to, at the first circus I ever went to, which was a legit 3-ring circus. It was a Ringling Brothers circus. And I went down Clown Alley with a little disposable camera to get pictures with clowns, because this is how long ago that this was. And every clown was pretty garish, like super modern. Like we had a hip hop clown, and we have a super sports jock clown, and like, yo, we're super relatable. All right. But there was one clown in specific that stood out to me that I met. He was a black and white clown. He had a little black bowler hat, and he had a little black suit with a white, dress, and he had a completely white face with just like a little bit on his eyes, little red nose, very little red on his lips, and he looked almost like a mime, but not quite. Like he was kind of a mimey clown, and he was just so out of place. Like this whole circus was kind of like, other than it being a 3-ring circus, and this reoccurring pink smoke I would recall later, which is something we'll talk about later. He was my biggest like, whoa, he just didn't fit. He was not like a modernized performer. He was like a throwback. And he signed my little playbill book, whatever thing, Gabor. And I got a picture with him, which I had meant to get from my parents. But dumbass me just drove past the house and went home after work. So there is a picture of me and Gabor. Maybe one day I'll put it up on Twitter. I'll probably do that. But he is a real clown. I never saw him ever again. And that is kind of the perfect way for it to be, because a big centerpiece of Gabor to me was like this loss of this era of clowning, of like carnival culture and whatnot, into a new era where we kind of have to learn how to perform differently and relate to the audience differently. I don't know, it felt way more like important and artistic than it probably was. It was probably just this guy picked this clown outfit out and was like, yo, I'll be that clown for this tour. I don't know. Next tour I'll be Billy Bob. I don't know. I mean, it could be something like that, but it influenced me so much artistically. Like, I don't know why I was like really drawn to his concept and his look and his everything. It became to me like the ultimate clown. And, in recent years, clowns have become very much a trope in Hollywood, especially like tortured psycho clowns. Gabor isn't quite that, but he's definitely a sad boy clown. And I'm actually writing a story now, rewriting Gutter Glass Circus, which was a story I wrote in my 20s. And he is the main character. So, of course, we're doing a trifecta of inspiration for Gabor. A song, a painting, and a story. And it'll be my ode to Gabor. But yeah, so I went and I saw him and I met him. I became fascinated. I riffed on his theme and his look, and that one picture I had with him, and it was, you couldn't just Google people. Like you could, but like I didn't know his last name. I didn't know anything about him, So I just knew he was a clown, and this was how he looked, and this was the vibe I got when I saw him. And it spoke to me artistically, especially at that age. Very impressionable and whatnot, and that was what impressed upon me, and I really became a fan of clowns after that, like seriously. And I can't remember if it was the next year or the year after the circus was coming back, and I was like, fucking hey, I want to go back to the circus, hey. So I wound up going to the circus 4 times in one fucking year. And it was crazy because they're like only in town for 3 days, and I saw them 4 times. Because one time, like, I went with like mom, and then I went over that. At the time, I don't know if I want to like name drop names of who people are, but like my boyfriend at the time, me, him, and his mom went, and then like me and him went, and then me and my homegirl went, another friend of mine, and yeah, I wound up going 4 times in total. And I wanted to see Gabor again. In the back of my mind, Gabor was in the back of my mind. I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I saw him again? But he wasn't there. However, it was a blue-haired jock villager of a clown. No, wait, that's lazy. Where my Animal Crossing people at? Hey, but no. He was like a jock villager, like a jock clown. He had blue hair. And like on the second night I was there, remembered me from being down in Clown Alley. He was like, hey, were you here last night? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, oh, okay, cool. That, you know, all right. And I was like, I like clowns. What can I say? And I walked off. And then like the third time I went, I was down in Clown Alley, and he was like, it was like I went to a matinee with, I think the matinee was with my boyfriend at the time. Because I went one time with him. No, I went one time with him at night, and then one time with him and his mom. I don't know. It was a fucking long time ago. But it wasn't the time I went with my mom. The time I went with my mom was the first time I went on that tour. So everything was new and fresh and everything. But the third time I went at the matinee, and he was like, yo, you're here again. And he like made a joke and shit. And I was like just talking shit. And about me liking clowns. And I was like, yeah, so what? I like clowns. You know, being just stupid and young and dumb. So that night we go back to see it. We go back to see it. I think that was the night I went with homegirl. I'm not sure. Anyways, this guy notices me again. And he's like, oh my God, you're here again. And I was like, I am. It was ridiculous. I look back at it in hindsight, and I did go to the circus like 4 times. Anyways, I got to see behind the curtain for a brief moment, and that was kind of cool. And we'll leave it at that. Hey, you can fill in the blanks. But no, it was nothing serious and stupid crazy or anything like that. But it was just cool. It was cool. You know, like, but it wasn't anything crazy, like calm yourself, still yourself. It wasn't still yourself. It wasn't anything too insane, or was it? It wasn't. It wasn't. But it was fun, and it was so rock star for me at the time, because I was like, yeah, I got to see behind the curtain for like a minute. I gotta be like, hey, what's up? All right, hey, okay, all right, pay the toll. You know, let's go. It was fun though. And then like we got to see the boxcar like area. It's not boxcars anymore, but it's what it is in your head. And like anyways, I'm rambling. We saw a lot of fun shit. The people who I am not actually naming their names, you probably, if you're watching this, you know who you are. So you can kind of fill in the blanks. It was a wild time. I was a wild child. I was a real wild child. Anyways, never saw Gabor again, but I got a healthy dose of the circus during that time. I went to the other circuses too, and I'm about to go to another one in a couple of weeks. Paranormal Circ. What? But I hear that one's kind of scary. That's gonna be fun. But anyway. So moving on. As you know, Gabor is a real person, a real clown that I met in Clown Alley that I never saw more than one time, but that I've spent my whole life trying to kind of capture in some form of art. I think I did a good job with my little painting back there. That felt good, even though I didn't give him a face, but I kind of felt like it fit, because the thing that always felt like artistic and significant about Gabor to me was that he seemed out of place. So you look at the song and the lyrics, down in the pits of Clown Alley stood a man at a time in a bowler hat and a suit of black. He was the tear of a mime. I mean, that's just describing Gabor. That's kind of how I would say when I just saw him. That was what I thought, that he was a figment of an older time, a bleed over of an older dimension. There was something vaguely not right and not of the current time to him. And so the song Gabor is basically saying, what if he isn't actually there? What if he was never actually there? What if he was like the ghost of all the circus performers who have died doing what they love? Or just the circus performers who have died in general? Like, what if he's just kind of like something that you see he's a super shiny clown. You only see him once in a while. But maybe that's kind of what he is. Kind of like, so this woman sees him and she's like, he doesn't really fit in with the circus around him. That's kind of wild. She goes and sits down. She's watching the circus. And there was a lady, an aerialist, or whether she was doing silks or whatever. I'm not sure. I don't really ever specify, but she falls to her death during her performance, and they cut the lights in, and the clowns pull up, those lights, and so I'm watching it. The character singing the song is watching it, and watching the clowns kind of distracting the rest of the audience for them getting the dead person off the stage. And she sees Gabor kind of come up and walk up to a microphone amidst all the slapstick and the pies and faces and whatnot, and she's like, what the hell, and he sings a song like an ode to, his fallen, circus performer brethren. And she watches it, and he sings until she laughs. It becomes a funny song, and that's kind of what Gabor felt like to me, because to my recollection that year when I saw Gabor and met Gabor, I don't remember him performing during the circus. He was there, but he wasn't there. Every other character, the jocks, the hip-hop clown, the whatever, the hillbilly clown, every trope you can think of, but I didn't see Gabor. And I looked real hard. It was a 3-ring circus, though, so there was a lot of, I am giving my camera an issue. It cannot focus on me spinning around. Focus on me. Focus. Anyways, this video probably has been long enough. I have rambled on and on and on and on and on about my boy Gabor, but he means a lot. He's not like the actual person, but the character that kind of sprang to life because of him. The first exploration into a deep theme to myself, for me artistically, was, Gabor was one of the first. He wasn't the first, motif I had, but he definitely was one of them. And he still is to this day. And I still love clowns to this day. And yeah. So next video, which hopefully I won't get the dreaded sickness. I was down with the sickness. That's why I didn't make any video. Voice was bad. Cough was bad. Voice was bad. It's still not 100%, but buddy, wow, focus on me, please, just focus on my hand, and I'll tell you the story of a different land. Nice. I'm just gonna do this. Hey, so my next video, which hopefully won't be as long of a break until my next video, will be a song called Laugh in the Grass, about the relationship between musician and their fan. So I hope you all join me. I'm going to have to move my hand over here now. Pete the Childish Gambino and Promise Records. I'll see y'all in the near future. Honk, honk.